What's going on, YouTube? I am Germ here, and today we're going to be taking a deep dive into another CS investing asset class. I've made a couple of different of these videos before, and eventually I want to hopefully get through every single asset class so we can finally decide what is the biggest, best investment for everybody, but also just go really in depth into a ton of different items and stuff, because I think there are so many different options out there and so many different items, and I think it's all very, very interesting to kind of crunch the numbers. So the other day I did this inventory review of Fano, obviously the very, very popular YouTuber. If you guys don't know about him, you should definitely go check out that video. He's got a cool inventory. He has an expensive inventory, like over a six-figure inventory. Only like 20,000 of it is public, however. And you know, whatever you think of him as a YouTuber or whatever, you know, I don't think he's that great of an investor. I don't think he makes that great of picks, but like I said, he has a very, very expensive inventory. He's in like the top percentage of inventories for sure. And he's also been a collector for quite some time, so he has a very, very cool collection. But while I was actually digging through his inventory, I found, you know, obviously he's got a ton of storage units and stuff, and let me try and find it real quick. He has this storage unit called keys, and in this storage unit he has 25 different keys, presumably. You know, I don't know exactly what he has, but it made me wonder, are keys a good investment? How good of an investment are keys? Should we be buying keys? Should they be on our radar? Is there a certain key that's maybe a great investment or a great purchase or whatever? I don't know. That is what we're going to be diving into in this video today, because I think it's going to be hopefully an interesting discovery and an interesting topic. But first up, I did want to plug my cash trading business real quick. This has really become like almost a part-time job for me. I've been putting so much time and effort into this. I've been trying to get fast response times, fast trade times, fast deals, you know, get back to people quickly. I'm buying stuff, I'm selling stuff, doing all different kinds of stuff. So if you guys are looking to cash out on any of your CSGO items, skins, stickers, capsules, whatever, hit me up and we can probably get a deal done. I'm buying a lot of stuff for between 0.9, 0.85 buff, somewhere in that range. But like I said, we've been getting all kinds of different deals done. I've been posting them all over on Twitter. People have been really happy so far. I've been really happy. It's been going great. So hit me up. My Twitter's linked in the description below, but also, you know, Discord, YouTube, Steam, whatever, and we can probably get some kind of deal done. So with that being said, let's get right into this. So again, for those of you that don't know, keys are actually a very, very interesting item and asset class in CSGO. For the longest time, keys were tradable and marketable. You know, you could buy a key from Steam and then you could sell it, you could trade it. Keys were used as like a currency almost. You know, people, you know, since keys held their value very, very well, a key was always going to be worth $2.50. The prices of things were based around keys. You know, this thing was worth 5 keys, or this was worth 4.5 keys, or this was worth 12 keys or whatever, and you could use keys to trade rather than, you know, using money or whatever, and then you could, you know, cash out the keys for money or buy the keys for cash or whatever. And it was just this whole ecosystem, this whole economy. That's how trading was really set up back in the day. I don't know a ton about all of it. I was around and did some trading during key trading eras, but you know, I was very young. That was also a long time ago, so I might be missing some details, but that's the general gist of it. But then you get to October 29, 2019, or somewhere in there, maybe it's the 28th, I don't know, somewhere late October 2019, and CSGO case keys are no longer marketable or tradable. Now, Valve did this for, you know, I think a couple different reasons. I know there was some, like, accusations of money laundering and different weird stuff going on, and there's probably more good reasons for why keys are no longer marketable or tradable, whatever, but the old existing keys that had already been purchased and marketed or traded or whatever were going to be grandfathered, I guess, out of this system or grandfathered into another system where they still were going to remain marketable and tradable, but any new keys that were bought were not going to be. So if you try and buy a key today from Valve, you're going to have to use that key to open up a chest. You're not going to be able to do anything else with it. But you can see here that on the Steam market, there are still all these different other keys from back in the day. Now, obviously, this is just the keys on the Steam market. We also have tons of other marketplaces like Buff and stuff like that. We also have people holding them in their inventories, like Fano, you know, holding on to all these different keys. But are these keys a good investment? Obviously, at this point, they don't have a use case. They are just a collector's item. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad investment. We see plenty of items out there that are just collector's items that have actually done very, very well. You know, we've seen old operation passes. We've seen old, you know, viewer passes from old majors, stuff like that, that has actually done quite well over the past couple years because there are a lot of collectors and investors out there. And in the real world, you see tons of items, you know, that don't necessarily have a use case or a value that still hold a lot of value. You know, think about trading cards and stuff like that. So yes, they do not have a direct use case in the game anymore, because again, you would never buy a Winter Offensive key for $12.23 if you're just going to open up a case with it. You would just buy the key for $2.50 or whatever. So do these keys have any value? Are they good investments? I don't know. Here is just the graph of one key, for example. This is the Winter Offensive case key. And you can see here, obviously, for the longest time, these things were sitting around 250. They would go up and down. They'd go up to 260. They'd go down to 240. The market was always fluctuating for, a myriad of different reasons. But then you can see here on October 28th or 29th or whatever this day is, it shoots up on October 31st. Price goes from 250 to 528. There's hysteria. There's pandemonium. There's panic in the market. People are saying, oh, we're not going to be able to get any keys anymore. Keys are probably going to skyrocket. Keys are going to be so rare. Keys aren't going to be tradable or whatever anymore. So the price doubles, but then things do cool off. But then still you can see over time that the prices do rise. The prices do increase. And the prices went from about 250 up to 650, and it was crazy. But then the market kind of cooled off a little bit, goes down to around $4, kind of back up. But now recently with the recent CS2 hype and craze, where a lot of different items have gone up, keys have gone back up again. So how much have they gone up? What have all the different keys looked like? We got to go to the handy dandy spreadsheet, which I've been doing for everything. This is just me adding another asset class to that. You can see at the bottom here, we have knives, we have cases, we have Paris glitters, we have capsules, we have glitters from Antwerp, we have Stockholm, we have foils from Stockholm. We have all different kinds of things that we're tracking, the different kinds of returns and gains and everything on. And generally when I do these videos, I track over 2 years. For whatever reason, I only did these over 18 months, but just keep in mind that the 18 months and the 2 years returns for a lot of these different keys look overall pretty similar. But if we look back from March 19th of 2022, this was 18 months ago. Again, today's September 20th that I'm recording this. I did this all on September 19th. So, 9 minus 6 is 3. We're looking at March and September dates over the last 2 years. March 19th, 2022. We had keys that were all different kinds of prices. We had the breakout key at $13.62 all the way down to the Hydra key at $2.25. We have community capsule 1 key at $3.32, CSGO capsule at $3.92, all different kinds of stuff all over the place. We go to September 19th of 2022. Now the clutch key is the most expensive at $13.58, down to the Hydra at $2.08. We go to March 19th of 2023, where we're with still the clutch key at $22.31, really skyrocketing price. And it's crazy because at that time, the second most expensive key was $14.94, the breakout. That doesn't really make a ton of sense to me. Hydra still at the bottom there. And then finally, most recently, this was the prices yesterday, where the breakout key was the most expensive at $23.5, and the Hydra key still the cheapest at $2.93. You can see everything in between. So what have the gains been over the past 6, 12, and 18 months? That is the big question here. Well, over the past 6 months, the Huntsman key has gone from $9.34, at least according to this. I hope I'm not making any mistakes. I don't know. We can double check if we want to real quick. We can pull up the Huntsman and go to this graph. It's very, very possible I made a mistake. I was doing all these kind of at once. If we look at March 19th here, we will see 1092. I don't know what I have here. I have 934. I don't know why I have that, but still, it's close. It's ballpark. I could have just picked, a different day, like a little bit before or after that or something. I don't know. Let's scroll in here real quick. We can go to March. Oh, well, here's this drop here. 934. Here's 1092. So depending on what day you picked, I picked 934, I think. But we do have 1032 also. So if we punch that in, it might make these numbers a little bit different. I probably just didn't zoom in enough. But still, it comes out to being about double in the past 6 months, which is really crazy. But we have these top 4 keys. Huntsman, Wildfire, Chroma 2, and Phoenix have all doubled in the last 6 months, which, again, when you compare these to some other item classes like vanilla knives, you can see that the number 1 vanilla knife, the flip knife, has doubled in the last 6 months, but no other vanilla knife has doubled in the last 6 months. Cases, a lot of cases have done better than doubling in the last 6 months, but there's also a lot of cases that have done worse than doubling in the last 6 months. But obviously, when you compare those returns to stuff like capsules, like hollows, like glitters, even like foils from Stockholm, obviously stickers from the major still have greatly outperformed something like keys. So I don't know, it makes keys kind of an interesting investment. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff here in the middle tier, stuff that's gone up like 1.8x, 1.6x, 1.5x, stuff like that. And then the clutch key, has actually gone down over the last 6 months, which is kind of interesting. But if we look at the average gains here, we will see that of the 27 keys that I'm tracking here, I believe this is all the keys, but it's possible I could be missing out on something. I don't know for sure. There's been about a 41, for a total of 41 here. So if we do 41 divided by 27, the average return, if you picked a random key from this list in the past 6 months, has been about 1.5x, which I believe is very, very similar to the returns of if you picked a random knife over the last 6 months. So that's actually kind of interesting. And again, cases have definitely been better over the last 6 months, but I know a lot of people are knife investors or skin investors, guns, whatever. And keys have honestly been very, very close. And I think a lot of people might be surprised by that. But when you start to zoom out a little bit and go to something like 12 months, you'll see, hey, the Huntsman's up 3.2x, Wildfire 2.6. But then you see you still have a lot of stuff in this tier of like a lot of things that have only gone up 1.5, 1.6, 1.8. And, these are not great returns over 12 months, especially compared to a lot of different other asset classes. But anything that's doubling or 2.5ing, that actually ends up being pretty decent. So some of these keys have been okay. Some of them have been not so great over the past 18 months. I think it gets even worse where, we have a lot of stuff that's only gone up 1.3, 1.7, 1.7, 1.8. So I don't know. Over the past 6 months, the keys have done very, very well. But if you start to look at 12 and 18 months and compare that to stuff like knives have definitely been better over the last 12 and 18 months. Cases have definitely been better over the last 12 and 18 months as well. So I don't know. Keys have done well in the most recent time period in the past 6 months, but will keys continue to do well in the CS2? I don't know. Obviously, these keys are not getting any more in their supply. So what you see on the Steam community market right now, some of these like the Winter Offensive, there's only 31, and Operation Vanguard, there's 48, Huntsman, there's 50. Whatever you're seeing on here, these numbers are not going to increase. Yeah, they could increase by people taking it off buff and putting it on Steam, or taking it out of their storage units and putting it on Steam or whatever. But by and large, these are not going to be increasing. These are going to be a CS:GO, kind of relic. It's going to be this really cool collector item, but obviously, these keys are only going to have as much demand as there are going to be collectors of them, and to some extent, there's going to be collectors who are looking to buy them and collectors that are looking to sell them off as the prices go up as well. So I don't know that these are insane investments. I don't know that these are great, but I also don't think that holding on to some of them is going to be all that bad. They've performed pretty well. They have gone down over some time periods, but a lot of things in the market have gone down over some time periods. I think they're an interesting investment. I'm definitely not loading all of my money into keys or something like that, but somebody like Fano, who has a 6-figure inventory, him owning one of every key, I think is actually pretty cool, and I think that's a pretty cool collector's item, and I think he's going to see decent returns on that, and I think it's an overall pretty strong store of value. Again, if you look at regular markets where you're trying to get like 8 or 10%, I think keys are doing better than that. So, if you have some extra money laying around, you're not sure exactly what to buy, and you end up buying some keys or whatever, I think there's worse investments and worse purchases you could make, but, don't expect keys to be like 5xing or 10xing or going absolutely ballistic or anything like that, just because I don't think there's going to be enough natural demand. But keys definitely do look like an interesting item. It does kind of seem like some of the older keys are doing better. I know that like Huntsman, Wildfire, Winter Offensive, some of these are really, really, really old, and obviously some of the newer keys are ones that are going to have some of the higher quantities and stuff like that. But overall, keys seem interesting. Fano might be onto something here, and maybe you want to put some money into them. But again, I think there's definitely better places to put your money, but I think there's worse places to put your money as well. But I'm glad I have some more data on another item and asset class out there. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Hopefully I catch you in the next one. But until then, peace.